The moment she whispered my name, something in me shattered, and the truth slipped out like a wound. I confessed the desire I've been hiding beneath every breath. What I feared most was losing the girl who was never mine. And admitting it felt like surrendering my soul at her feet. When she touched my hand, I felt the lie I'd been living collapse around me. I tried to disguise it as confusion, as a mistake. But the truth was burning. I adored her long before my heart even knew her name. And saying it out loud felt like stepping into the fire she made of me. She looked at me with that impossible softness, and I couldn't run from it anymore. I confessed the jealousy that tore me apart every night she wasn't near. The truth was cruel. I wanted her in ways I never dared admit, and the universe seemed to hold its breath as I finally said it. Her silence cornered me, made my heart stumble into its own confession. I tried to mask the ache as something harmless, but the truth trembled through me. I've been worshiping her from a distance for far too long, and admitting it felt like returning stolen light to its source. She asked me why I avoided her eyes, and everything inside me caved. I confessed my fear of wanting her too much, too deeply. The truth was merciless. She became the only prayer I whispered without meaning to, and speaking it felt like breaking open under a sacred storm. When she walked toward me, all the lies I built fell apart like sand. I confessed the obsession I kept wrapped in silence. The truth was raw. I adored every version of her, even the ones she never showed, and admitting it felt like stepping naked into destiny. Her laughter ruined me in ways she'll never understand, and I finally surrendered. I confessed the longing I buried under calmness and distance. The truth tasted like lightning. I was already hers before she ever asked, and speaking it felt like offering my heart to fate itself. The moment she touched my shoulder, my defenses collapsed like a fragile wall. I confessed the hunger I've been drowning beneath polite smiles. The truth was fierce. I adored her beyond logic, beyond reason. And when I said it, the universe felt suddenly, terrifyingly quiet. She held my gaze too long, and I couldn't pretend anymore. I confessed the ache that lived under my ribs every time she walked away. The truth spilled out. I wasn't afraid of loving her. I was afraid she'd never feel the same. And the moment I admitted it, everything inside me changed. When she asked what was wrong, I almost lied. But the truth pushed through the cracks. I confessed the devotion I kept hidden like a secret prayer. I wanted her more than breathing itself, and saying it felt like tearing open a sky I'd been locked beneath for years. Her presence undid me, stripped away every carefully constructed mask. I confessed the desire that haunted me even in sleep. The truth was brutal. I adored her in ways I didn't know how to survive. And speaking it felt like surrendering to a truth older than my fear. When she stood close enough to hear my heartbeat, the truth tore free. I confessed the longing that followed me everywhere like a shadow. Loving her wasn't a choice. It was destiny carved into my bones, and admitting it felt like bowing before a power I could no longer resist. She tilted her head and smiled, and my soul couldn't pretend anymore. I confessed the jealousy that burned whenever someone else had her attention. The truth shook me. I wanted to be the one she ran to, the one she chose, and saying it felt like stepping off the edge of my own silence. Her voice softened, and suddenly my chest felt too small for everything I'd buried. I confessed the fear that loving her would ruin me. The truth was vicious. I was already ruined long before she knew, and admitting it felt strangely holy, like breaking open under divine hands. When she said she could see right through me, I broke. I confessed the devotion hiding behind every stolen glance. The truth was simple, yet terrifying. I adored her with a depth that frightened even me, and speaking it felt like releasing a truth the universe already knew. Every time she smiled at me, I felt fate tightening its grip. I confessed the craving I suffocated beneath logic. The truth was loud. I wanted to be the reason she glowed like that, and admitting it felt like surrendering to a love that was always meant to consume me. She asked why I couldn't let her go, and my voice trembled with confession. I revealed the devotion I tried so desperately to deny. The truth cut deep. I adored her more than I adored my own peace, and admitting it felt like choosing a beautiful kind of madness. Her presence alone dismantled me, made my truth spill out like spilled stars. I confessed how deeply I'd fallen for her, long before I accepted it myself. The truth shimmered. I adored her soul more than her beauty, and saying it felt like aligning myself with fate. The moment she said she could feel my heart racing, I stopped running. I confessed the love I hid behind indifference. The truth was wild. I adored her in ways that defied reason, and speaking it felt like waking up from a lifetime of silence. She asked me what I felt, and the lie died on my tongue. I confessed the longing that gnawed at every corner of my life. The truth was carved into me. I adored her more than I feared the consequences, and the moment I admitted it, the world seemed to shift around us. Every time she walked into the room, my truth grew louder. I confessed the desire that made breathing difficult. The truth was haunting. I adored her far beyond what I could explain, and admitting it felt like offering my heart to a storm I willingly stepped into. She caught my stare and didn't look away, and the truth spilled out. I confessed the obsession wrapped inside my quietness. The truth was inevitable. I adored her more with every heartbeat, and speaking it felt like revealing a prophecy written in my bones. Her name alone made my soul tremble, and I broke under its weight. I confessed the yearning I carried like an invisible wound. The truth glowed painfully. I adored her beyond my capacity to hide it, and admitting it felt like setting my spirit on fire. She asked why I kept choosing her in silence, and I finally spoke. I confessed the devotion that lived beneath every breath I took around her. The truth was irreversible. I adored her too deeply to pretend otherwise, and saying it felt like destiny claiming me. The moment she stepped closer, my courage collapsed like a frightened creature. I confessed the way her presence rewired my entire existence. The truth pulsed through me. I adored her with a hunger I could no longer disguise, and saying it felt like handing my soul to the very fire that shaped me. Her voice cracked softly, and it shattered something stubborn inside me. I confessed the longing that lived beneath every breath I took near her. The truth echoed through my bones. I adored her more deeply than I understood myself. and admitting it felt like bearing my heart to a storm I'd loved for years. When she touched my arm gently, the lies I rehearsed dissolved instantly. I confessed the desire that haunted my nights like a restless spirit. The truth trembled out. I adored her in ways that made the earth beneath me feel unstable. And speaking it felt like surrendering to a gravitational pull I could never escape. She looked at me like she already knew, and my resistance died. I confessed the jealousy I hid behind forced smiles. The truth stung. I adored her far beyond reason or restraint, and admitting it felt like tearing open the sky above my fear. Her silence pressed against me until the truth clawed its way out. I confessed the ache I tried to starve into nothingness. The truth throbbed. I adored her with a devotion that frightened even me. And saying it felt like stepping into the light after living too long in the dark. When she whispered that she could feel my heart, I couldn't pretend anymore. I confessed the obsession I tucked inside casual sentences. The truth unfolded. I adored her more fiercely than I ever dared admit, and speaking it felt like inhaling fate for the first time. The way she said my name made every hidden feeling surface at once. I confessed the terror of losing her before she was ever mine. The truth surged through me. I adored her with a tenderness that hurt to carry, and admitting it felt like falling on purpose. Her laughter wrapped around me and ruined my defenses completely. I confessed the desire that chased me even in my dreams. The truth emerged. I adored her with a purity and madness intertwined, and speaking it felt like stepping into a truth I'd denied too long. When she asked why I kept staring, the truth slipped without mercy. I confessed the longing I stitched beneath quiet moments. The truth was overwhelming. I adored her more deeply than my fear allowed, and admitting it felt like finally exhaling after holding my breath for years. She moved closer, and my soul had nowhere left to hide. I confessed the devotion that lived under the ruins of my pride. The truth glowed painfully. I adored her with a devotion that felt predestined, and saying it felt like kneeling before something sacred. Her eyes softened, and my heart surrendered instantly. I confessed the way her existence rewrote every dream I ever had. The truth rose. I adored her beyond the limits of my own honesty, and speaking it felt like lifting a weight I didn't know I carried. When she asked if I felt anything at all, the universe demanded the truth. I confessed the fire she ignited beneath my ribs. The truth unfurled. I adored her so intensely it threatened to consume me, and admitting it felt like letting the flames finally take shape. Her fingertips brushed mine, and my entire body betrayed me.